Hey guys, so this is going to be a quick rundown of how to use Premiere Pro. What you first do is when you open it up, you've got this window just like most of the projects in the Adobe Suite. You can start a new project here. I have one already begun here. It's called Intro Test. So let's start with that. So when you first open it up, this is going to be what you see for the very first time if you've got the most updated version. What I like to do is I come up to Window and to my workspaces and I change it from editing to editing CS 5.5. The reason I do that, you can see how everything changes. The reason I do that is because this layout here is a lot more like the professional work that you'll see people doing if you do anything professionally editing wise when you get out of school. So, and it's just a much more traditional workspace and I'm used to it, but you can use whatever you like, but I'm going to use this one today. So what you do is you got these four main windows. You've got project, source, program, and down here is your timeline. In your project window, this is where all your media lives. So this is going to be where all your clips, your footage, your sound, and any of the sequences that you save from your timeline will be all up here. You can see where I create these folders, and in this folder you have clips. I find that having this window floating around is a little bit distracting to me. So I come up to here and I change it from icon to list view. And here you can see where this is the footage folder, and inside I have my clips. This itself is a sequence, and I saved it. If we double click it, you can see that this timeline becomes activated. So what I did was I saved this timeline as test 1, even though there's nothing in it yet. What I suggest is just to keep all your files organized up here. You create bins. You can right click or control click on this space and create a new bin. And I'm going to call this my sequences. And then I'll put this sequence into that particular folder right there. Now you see that if you double click on any of the clips, they will open up here. So it's easy, you can see what you've got. You guys are going to have footage that you shot for your animations and you want to import it. What you can do is right click on the same space or control click and hit import. And then you can navigate to wherever you will have your clips on your drive. Right now I'm going to import this particular clip here. And it comes in, you can see there it is, and I'll just drag it directly into the footage folder, so there it is right there. And you can use the playhead here, drag around and see what's on what's in that clip. You can hit play, and I'm going to be using the space bar, which is the default play and stop. Now you notice that there's a lot of this extra stuff at the beginning and at the end, and I only want to take a little bit of it. So I'm going to find where I want the beginning of my clip to begin. Let's say right there. What I'm going to do is I'll hit the I key. I stands for in. I'm creating an in mark. Now watch right here when I do that. It highlights this part of the clip. What I'm going to do now is create an out point, because I want to only select a section of this clip from an in point to an out point.
Need a ride?
And right there, after she asks him if he needs a ride, I'll hit the O key, and watch here. Now I've got an in point and an out point, and this section in between is highlighted, right? So that right there is the section that I'm going to be choosing to use. I'm going to want to bring this down into my timeline right here. You can come in here and you can hit overwrite, or you can just hit the period key, okay? And it dumps it right there. You can see in this case that it brought the sound and the clip. It put the sound on audio track 2. This is audio track 2 right here, and video track. You have this dividing line between the video tracks above and the audio tracks below. Okay, this is how it works. You can actually take it and move it around if you want to see a little bit more. So there you go. Let's do that again. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to take this target area right here. You saw that the A1 was on audio 2. I'm going to put it on this. This is how you tell the source window where to send your clip. So you got video and audio. Let's hit overwrite again, and it puts it together. You see that audio this time came through on the second audio, the first audio track, right? So there you have it. And if you play it, you'll see it shows up here.
Need a ride?
This window shows you everything that's going on down here in your timeline. All right, let's find another clip. This is going to be him reacting.
You need a ride?
And I want it to start right after she says that. So I'll hit the I key, creates the in point right there. And here he is looking. Out point. And then instead of using the overwrite, I can drag this down and see how it snaps right to it. That's another way to actually bring this down. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to enlarge my timeline here so that we can see it a little bit better. All right. So what we have here is a clip.
Need a ride?
Followed by another clip. So we're using the select tool. These are all your tools that you can use, like in Photoshop. With the select tool, you can drag it around, move it up onto another track. You can actually take the edges and say, you know what, I want it to start a little bit later, so he starts to look there. Get rid of that space in between. Or you could actually use this tool, a ripple tool. Does the same thing, only it cuts out that second step of having to delete the dead space. So I want it to start a little bit later, the second clip, and it drags it back automatically. Okay. Another cool tool to use is this razor tool. Let's say that you don't want it to start way back here, but you want it to start around here. You could actually come in and use the razor tool and make a virtual cut. You can see that there's a virtual cut there now. With your select tool, highlight that and delete it. Okay? You could actually use it to cut out sections in the middle if you want for some reason. It's a very sort of hands-on tool. All right, we're going to come back to the select tool, and
Need a ride?
one thing you'll notice is that the sound is linked to the visual. And in this case, I want to unlink it because it's going to give us a lot more flexibility, especially with your animations if you guys are mixing and kind of putting in different audio clips. So the way to do that is you right-click or control-click on a clip, you hit unlink. What it does is it allows you to now move these around separately. I'm going to take this clip because I don't really need the audio for this. I'm going to get rid of it there. Let's unlink this guy. And in this one, I want to keep her line, but I don't want to keep the rest of it. So let's see where she starts to talk. I'm going to use my right and left arrow keys to find out where she actually starts her line. Because the right or left will let you inch forward by a frame or back by a frame. See that? And you can actually hear the sound on the frame. I'm going to go forward using the right arrow key. You need. Right around there where she says you need. Right about there. I'm going to come back maybe about 12 frames. Okay? And I'm going to take this and I'll drag it, and that's where I want the sound to start. I don't need all this other sound that was over here.
Need a ride?
Okay? So what I'll do here is highlight this end and control click or right click on it and apply default transition. You'll see that this fade in came up. Let's play it, see what it sounds like.
Need a ride?
Okay, let's bring this over a little bit and add a default transition and double click the default transition and make it a little bit shorter. Let's say I want it to be 12 frames. See how it just shortened itself. So now I got the sound where she speaks and all the ambient sound around it fades up and fades down. Let's play it. Okay? Reason I'm doing that is because what I want to do is add other sounds artificially behind this. Let's bring in some extra sounds. This is going to be good for you guys when you do your sound effects for your animations. So let's see, import. I want an idling truck and a car door. I just made this this sound bin, and I'm going to put these right in there. Okay. So let's play with this idling sound. Just like when you have a video, if you open up an audio track, you'll see that there's a sound wave. I'm going to create an in point, an out point, and I want this now to go down onto audio track 2. Okay? I want it to go right down in here. So I'll take this and say the target of where I want to send this audio track is to audio track 2. I had it here, now it's going to go here. And I want it to start over here. So I'll bring my playhead back, and up here I'll go overwrite, and there it does. It dumps it right there. Okay, I can take this end and drag it all the way to the end, and let's see what it sounds like.
Need a ride?
So it's starting to sound a little bit more cohesive, right? But we also have a door that she opens. We need the sound of a door. So I'm going to use my right and left arrow keys to look for where she begins to open the door. And it looks like, you can see I'm looking right here. It starts to open right about there. Okay? So I'll come up to here, I have my car door sound. And if I enlarge the waveform and hit play, that's a door open. And I can see it corresponds exactly to where the waveform is. And I'll use my right and left arrow keys again to find the beginning. Where does the first sound of the door opening occur? Right about there. I'll create my in point by hitting I, out point by hitting O, and this time I want to send this to the first audio track again. So I'll change my target from here to here. Okay, we've already lined up. This is where we want it to start. Come here and hit overwrite, and it dumps it right there. Let's see what that looks like.
Need a ride?
With this, I might be able to like move it forward a little bit, or back a little bit. And you see how it snaps? It's kind of snapping, which is not allowing me to easily move it around. That's happening because of this right here, the snap tool. With that off, I can now move it around. I'm going to move it forward by 2 frames and see what that looks like. That looks a little bit more precise. Okay, I'll put my snapping tool back on. And now I notice that as we're playing this through, listen to her voice. It sounds a little bit too loud.
Need a ride?
So what I want to do is mix this sound so that it's a little bit lower. You can do that by coming up to Window. You have your audio clip mixer, and it opens up this next window right here. Remember, this is audio track 1. This is audio track 1 right here. And what it does is you have these sliders. Okay? So let's do this.
Need a ride?
Bring that down by like 6 decibels and see what it looks like, sounds like.
Need a ride?
A little bit better. You know what though? My background of the truck idling, I want to bump that up. So let's see. That's on audio track 2. Audio track 2, here it is right here. I'm going to bump that up by maybe 4 decibels. What does that sound like?
Need a ride?
You can actually do it live, like as it's playing. So let's see what that sounds like when I do it live. See?
Need a ride?
And in fact, I'm going to turn that all the way up to 6. And I'm going to bring this one down. This is on audio track 1. Come back to here and bring it, the car door sound opening down by 6 decibels. not perfect, but it's better. If you want to add similar transitions to your picture, to your video, you do the same thing. You come over here, you right click onto it, apply default transition, and now you got a dissolve. We do the same thing down here so that we have a fading out of the sound. So you want this to actually be more than a minute and second and 6 frames. Say I want it to be 2 seconds. That's 2 seconds, 00 frames. Hit OK, and you see it just extended. And I'll put a dissolve at the front too. So there you go. The last thing I want to show you is how to export this. Alright, always save. When you're ready to export, you, with your timeline activated here with the blue, you come up here to File, and then you go to Export, Media. And it's going to open up another window. The most important thing is to decide what format you want to export as. You got all these different choices. In your computers, you might have different ones depending on what format you have loaded. For Mac users, you should probably use an H.264. PC, if you have that, great, use it. Another option is MPEG-4 as well. So let's just go with H.264. I'm going to send it to the queue, and it's exporting it to Media Encoder. You see what it did? It just opened up another program called Adobe Media Encoder right up here. If it doesn't open up Media Encoder, then you should download it and make sure that you open it up manually, because when you do, you'll see in this window here, this is our movie. Okay? Let's see, I'm going to click here and say I want to send it to the desktop just for now and call it Test 2 Movie. When you're ready, you hit the Start Queue button here, and it's going to start working through it. And now if we go to our Finder, the desktop, there it is, Test 2. With that, you can now open up a YouTube account or Vimeo account if you haven't done so already. Upload this clip and then take the link and share it in the Facebook group, and we'll be ready to go. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck.